This conference will now be recorded.
Go to File, switch Workspace. Right. Right. In the last class, we discussed about how to handle different pages or different windows. Right. So let's talk about how to handle frames concept. Handling frames. Handling frames. Wait for 5 seconds. Thread dot sleep. Close application. Driver dot close. jQuery droppable. So this is the application URL. Right. Right click, run as Java application. Right. Now see, I want to get the element of, I want to get the text of this element. So what we will do, right click, inspect the element, and I'm identifying with this element using ID, and we are getting the text of the element. So driver dot find element by dot ID, and here ID name, and then find element, it returns web element, and we need to get the text, get text. So get text, it returns string. Get text, it returns string. So let's say element. Right click, run as Java application. Now see, here you are getting exception called no such element exception. Why? Because there is ID is there, and based on that ID only we are finding element. But here instead of that, it is giving no such element exception. So what is the reason? See, this is the page. Sometimes based on the requirements, the page is divided into multiple sections or multiple parts, and those parts are developing with a concept called frames. When you are looking at the page, it seems to be like page only. But internally, they divided with frames concept. For the user's perspective, it is page only. But internally, the implementation is taken care by frames. Frames is the part of pages only. But the WebDriver, it is treating as a separate section. The WebDriver, it treats frames as the separate way. So how to handle this frames? So first of all, how to check whether frames is there or not? Now see, right click on the page. Here you don't see any word called frame. Suppose if the page is designed with the frames concept, now see, right click, you will see a word called frame word. Suppose if it is frame is developed, if the frames are developed on the page, you will see a word called frame word. Otherwise, you will not see this word frame. Whenever frames are implemented, at that time, this frame word will be implemented. I mean, the frame word will be there. In the normal cases, you won't see the frame word. Okay. The frames are identifying with the tag name called iframe. The frames are identifying with the tag name called iframe. Okay. Now, what you need to do is, I want to find out number of frames in this page. I want to find out the number of frames in this page. I want to find out the number of frames in this page. So what I'll do is driver dot find element, not find element, find elements by dot by dot tag name. Tag name is what? iframe. The tag name for the frame is iframe. So find elements, what it returns? It returns list of web element. Let's say I'll use the word called frames. The list is coming under Java util package, web element, import web element. Number of frames. Frames dot size. Okay, the number of frames is 1. So that means in this page, the total number of frames are developed is 1. So if it is frame, so how you need to switch your focus to the frame? If frames are existing, so how to switch your focus to the frame? See, totally there are 3 ways to switch your focus to the frame. Right now you found the number of frames is 1. So how to switch it to the frame? Just a second.
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so the total number of frames is 1. Now here, what we will do is, I need to switch it to the focus to the frame. So now how to switch? So one is based on the index. Switch it to the focus, switch it to the frame based on index. Switch it to the frame based on the index. So how will you write? Driver dot, switch it to dot and frame. And here, since there is only one frame, the index starts with 0. 0th index means first frame. Okay, so now the focus is on the frame because we have switched based on the index. Now let me run the program. Run as Java application. Now this time you are able to get the text of the element because that element is present in the frame. Now see, drag me to my target. Suppose if there are 2-3 frames are there in the page. If you want to use second frame or third frame, you have to put the index value. If it is a second frame, you have to pass frame number 1. If it is third frame, you have to pass frame number 2. Like that you need to provide. Okay. So one is based on index. The second one is based on name or ID. So you need to get the element information. In that, if the frame containing either name or ID, then you can use those attributes. Right click, see, go to view page source. This is the source code of that page. Search for iframe, search for iframe. Now see, this is the starting and this is the ending. So it contains src and a class. It is not containing name or id. It is not containing name or id. Let's say if you are working with the developers parallelly, if you are working with developers parallelly, if they are providing frames for the development point of view, what you can do is you can ask them to provide either name or id for the frames, so that you can switch based on the name or id easily. The problem with the index is you need to give, like, keep on trial and error method type. Let's say you are trying to find out an element, that element on which frame it is existing. If you want to check that, first you need to provide the index value 0. If it is able to perform the operation, then it's fine. Then you can conclude that okay, the frame is present on the first frame. Sorry, that element is present on the first frame. Suppose if you are getting again no such element exception, again you need to change the frame value. So like that, you need to keep on changing till it is working. Suppose if the developers are providing either name or id, so that you can easily jump to the frame. So that is the advantage. So now in this case, you don't have either name or id, so you cannot use it right now. So what you can do is, the second one is switching based on the name or id. So how will you write? Driver dot switch to dot frame. You can provide either name or id. So now in this case, I cannot use it because I don't have either name or id. So that's why I'm commenting it. And the third one is switching based on web element, based on the web element of the frame, based on the web element of frame. Now see, here I'm finding the frame, driver dot find element by dot class. So what is the class name? The class name is demo-frame. Driver dot find element by dot class name. So here the class name is demo-frame. The web element frame. Okay. So now I can switch based on the frame. Now how will you do that? Driver dot switch to dot, then frame. Inside that you need to pass. Okay. Let me write frame element. Okay. Right. So now you are switching the focus based on the frame element. So this is the third way. So let me comment this code. Right click, run as Java application. Okay, drag me to my. So totally there are three ways. One is based on index, the second one is based on name or ID, and the third one is based on the web element. So totally there are three ways to handle the frames. Okay, now what I'll do is I'll try to click on this accordion link. I'll try to click on accordion link. So what I'll do is driver dot file element by dot link text, and then here use accordion dot click, run as Java application. Now see, you are getting no such element exception, unable to look at the element. Why? Because it is present on the page, we are finding the element based on the element text, link text. Because since it is a link, then why it is giving no such element exception? Now see, it is present on the page, on the normal page, but right now the focus is there on the frame. You need to come back from the frame to original position. You need to come to the original position where it is started. So to come back to the original position, what you need to write is, you need to write driver dot switch it to dot, and there is a method called a default content. There is a method called default content. You have to write this statement, driver dot switch it to dot default content. You have to write this statement. Right click, run as Java application. Now see, this time it is clicked on accordion, but previously why it is not happening? Since the focus is there on the frame, this accordion link is not there, so that's why it is unable to find out. You are getting no such element exception. Okay, so the default content, which is giving the information about where you started. So driver dot switch to dot default content means it is coming back to the original position. Wherever you started, it will come to that stage. Okay, so this is the way you need to handle the frames concept. Actually, in the latest web pages or latest websites, people are, that means the developers are not developing the frames concept. Earlier, people used to develop this frames concept. Now, people are not using the frames concept much. Okay, but conceptually, I need to explain how to use it. But in the latest websites, in the latest designing, people are not using frames concept much. Okay, so totally we are going to use switch statement in 3 scenarios. One is to handle alerts, and the second one is to handle windows or pop-ups or pages or tabs, and the third one is frames concept. So in these 3 scenarios, we are going to switch our focus from one place to another place. Yeah. Okay. Any doubts?
No, sir.
Okay. Saira?
No doubts.
Okay. Right. Right. Now see, let us work with properties file. Properties file. Just a second.
This conference will now be recorded.
Yeah. So properties file. So what is this properties file? The property file which is containing the information in the form of key and value, which is containing the information in the form of key and value. We are working with properties file. We are working with properties file based on key. Based on the key, we will get the corresponding value in the properties file. The extension for properties file is dot properties. Okay. So why people are using this properties file? See, right now in the script level,
This conference will now be recorded.
sorry, actually this properties file which is using to maintain the project related information. See, right now for each and every scenario, while explaining, we are hard coding the values like the URL, the paths, and the locators. All this information we are directly providing in the script level. But actually in the real time, people will not use it like this. Instead of that, instead of hard coding in the script level, they are providing the information in the form of properties file. So from the properties file, they are getting the information and then they'll try to use it. So why people are using it like this? Let's say you are using one web element. That web element is you are using in the 100 scripts, assuming that you are using one web element. For that web element, you are using one locator. That locator you are using in 100 scripts. Okay, that locator you are using in the 100 scripts. So without knowing you, the developers changed the locator information. So when you are running the scripts, all the 100 scripts are failed. Why? Because locator information changed. So now, after inspecting the element, now you get the element information and you need to change in all the 100 places. So changing in one places and two places, that is okay. But changing in 100 places, it's very, very difficult. So now what I decided is, okay, I am maintaining my element information or project related information in one place. So I'm getting the information from the properties file. Suppose if it is changes information after some time, if you're trying to change the element information in one place, so you are going to change in one place, automatically it is going to reflect in all the places. You are changing in one place, but reflection is happening in all the places. So this is very, very easy. So that means the object repository concept you are going to maintain using kind of properties file. So project related information and all you are going to maintain in the form of properties files. Okay. So how people are maintaining the properties file information and how to read the information from the file. So that and all we will discuss it tomorrow.